Welcome students to another class of computer. In the last session we had discussed about chapter 1 internet basics, and in part 1 we have discussed about introduction, and in part 2 it was related with the internet terminology. So this is part 3 of the same chapter, and here today we are going to discuss about protocol and HTML. So let's begin our today's topic, protocols. So we start with the general terms. What is protocol? As we all know that in a word people speak different types of languages like French, German, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, English, Hindi, etc. So we would never been able to communicate worldwide if there were no standards governing the way we communicate, and there will be a condition of chaos if we will not if we will communicate with the different types of languages. So we need a standard to avoid such conditions. So these standards are nothing but set of rules which are followed by everyone. So because of that thing, English is a international language, and all the countries they have to follow this English as a standard language. So same thing happens with the machines also for processing data. So different type of machine, there should be some standard, and that standard is known as the protocol, which determines how the data should be transferred over the network, compressed, presented on the screen, and so on. So these set of rules are called protocols. So protocols are nothing but set of rules that are specific rules which determine the how the data should be transferred over the network, compressed, presented on the screen. Okay, so the basic need for protocol is to standardize the process and ways of communication over a computer network. Most commonly used protocols are examples given here: HTTP/HTTPS, that is hypertext transfer protocol, and hypertext transfer protocol secure. This protocol is used for in the interaction with the applications. Whenever we are typing URL, this protocol will work, and it sends other things from one device, client device, to the server. Next protocol is TCP/IP, that is Transmission Control Protocol, and IP stands for Internet Protocol. This protocol helps in communication, and it is the basis of the internet. And next protocol is SMTP and POP. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and POP stands for Post Office Protocol. These two protocols are used in emails. Okay. Next topic is we will discuss about the TCP/IP in detail. TCP/IP protocol. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, and IP stands for IP protocol. It is a family of protocols defining conventions for communication between computers over the internet, and it is a basic communication protocol of the internet. Let's take an example to understand this TCP/IP. For example, if you have to send a gift from you to your friend, so what process you will do is, first you will take the gift, and then you will wrap the gift in a particular paper, and then you will write the sender address and the recipient address on the particular box, and then you will paste the post stamps, etc., and then deposit this box into the post office. So what we have done is the process where we are just packing the information. Same way we are packing the gift, so it is similar to the sending a information. So what we have sended is the information, you can consider like that. And at the post office, the postmaster will send that particular package to the corresponding address. Okay, so it will go to that particular next post office, and similarly it will transfer from one post office to another post office, and at the receiver side, that particular post office, it is again checked, and then it is sent to that particular local address, and the recipient will again do the same process of deassembling the particular gift. He will see that gift, and then he will unwrap the gift. Okay, so same example, just consider it for understanding this TCP/IP protocol. TCP/IP protocol is a two-layer program. The higher layer TCP manages the breakdown and assembling of the data, whereas the lower layer IP layer is responsible for the accurate delivery of the data over the internet. So what TCP is doing, it is just doing the packing thing, and what IP is doing, it is just providing that particular address. Okay, so how this TCP IP work, we will see here. Working of TCP IP, the information that we have sent through the internet is broken into packets. That is, we can't send the information in one go, so we divide it into small pieces that are known as packets, and then using a technique that is packet switching. Packet switching means packet transferring. It is a digital networking communication method which breaks the large data into suitable size blocks, and those blocks are known as packets. So what we do is, we are just dividing the information into small packets or small pieces. Okay, so the IP is responsible for sending these packets to the right address by assigning them a sequence number. So after dividing the information into packets, then a sequence number is assigned to each packet, and that sequencing assignment is done by the IP protocol. Okay, the packets are then sent to the local internet service provider, and from there the packets travel through the multiple level of networking, computers and communication line before they reach the destination. And the destination may be your town or anywhere across the globe, where the information packet reach the destination computer, and the TCP with the help of packet switching again assembles the packets into a single message. And it is not always that packets are the way we are sending the packets, it is received in that manner. It can be received in random manner, but after receiving all the packets, the information is rearranged by this TCP IP protocol, and then the receiver will receive that particular message and in the proper form. So that is the working of TCP IP. In simple terms, we can say, the way we are wrapping a gift, same way we are just breaking the information into small pieces, and then we are assigning a label of address to that particular IP or that particular packets, and then we will send it to the ISP, internet service provider, as we are sending the gift to the post office. Okay, and then post office will search the recipient address, and then similarly here also TCP is doing the process of transmission, and IP is just taking the address where we have to deliver that particular information. Is it clear? Okay. Next topic is HTTP and HTTPS protocol. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is the set of rules for transferring hypertext documents on World Wide Web. अब hypertext may include text, graphic, image, sound, videos, etc. This hypertext refers to a special format of text that contains links of the other text, just the way we find links on a web page, which leads to the other web page. To create such pages, hypertext files are created, and these hypertext transfer protocol is an access method, or you can say a method to access web page used on internet. It is primarily access method for interacting with internet. The HTTP generally works on the combination with www, and this HTTP is the basic protocol that is used on World Wide Web. This HTTP is responsible for accessing all the hypertext documents on the World Wide Web. Since World Wide Web is a system governing the use of multimedia files on the net, and hypertext files support multimedia, the HTTP generally works in combination of www. So always whenever we are typing an URL, you can see there that it should be like that: http://www. For example, w3schools.com. So the URL, complete URL, you will find the HTTP and the www also with the domain name. Okay, next is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, that is HTTPS. It is an enhanced version of HTTP that works with SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer Certification, and this SSL take care of ensuring that the data goes securely over the internet. The main difference is about the security. In HTTP, the connection link is unsecure, and in HTTPS the connection link is secure. And this HTTPS is generally used in bank's website or secure transaction that you will find on the URL that HTTPS will be written, and you will find a padlock symbol. Generally it is used in banking websites or more secure websites. Okay, so let's talk about this HTTPS more. That HTTPS protocol ensures the security of text or information being transferred over www. With the regular HTTPS protocol, the text and information being transferred flows from server to browser directly without any encryption. Encryption means coding, which means it can be easily stolen. You can understand encryption as this: the actual information is converted into some code. Code means secure code. Okay, code words using a specific type of technology that is called SSL, that is secure socket layer certificate. And this SSL, secure socket layer certificate, helps to create a secure and encrypted connection between the server and the browser. This ensures that the information is encryption and connection is safe, so that the hackers cannot steal your crucial information or sensitive information such as login ID or password or payments, etc. So this is all about HTTPS. Now we are taking an example that will explain you about the working and transactions that is take place with the help of HTTP. So see here, in the first step, for example, we open a connection to the Gmail server by typing the URL of Gmail. This URL actually sends an HTTP command to the web server, directing it to fetch and transmit the requested web page. In the second step, when we enter our credentials, that is login and username and password. Okay, when we click on login, request is sent on the server stating that the type of transaction and the data. The transaction type is login and the data requested is your email account. In the third stage, the server checks whether the username and passwords are entered correctly or not. If the credentials are correct, then the server sends the desired data, hence the current status is success. If the credentials do not match, the server redirects you to the home page with an error message. The current status of the transactions become failure. So this is the way HTTP and HTTPS works. Okay, now we will discuss the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So differences are, first you can write that HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol and HTTPS is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. On second difference, you can write that it is the foundation. HTTP is the foundation of any data exchange on the web, and HTTPS is a variant of HTTP or enhanced form of HTTP. Third point is the information or data flows from a server to browser encrypted. Encrypted means without security, but in HTTPS protocol encrypts the information or data using transport layer security, TLS, and the certification is called SSL certificate. Okay, fourth point is HTTP allows access to hypertext file, where HTTPS is used to transfer confidential information over the internet. Example, financial information, login credentials, etc. Okay, or we can say that HTTP, it does not require any additional technology or data exchange transfer, whereas the HTTPS, it require additional SSL certificate for secure exchange of data information through secure connection. And last point is HTTP is generally used for blogs, entertainment, information, and general articles, etc. And HTTPS, it is used for exchanging information such as login details, bank details, payment details, etc. So this is all about HTTP versus HTTPS. Next topic is blogs. A blog is an easy to create website that allows users to share their thoughts with the world. The word blogs come from weblog because a blog consists of a signed and dated log of individual posting. Log means the entries, or the you can say the history of the blogs is known as log. Okay, and posting means whatever we are writing, that is considered as post in blogs. Okay, the person who write blogs is known as blogger, and the way of writing and the process of writing blogs is known as blogging. So Blogging can be an interactive activities. Readers can add comments to a blogger's post. Other personal persons can respond, and a conversation ensures. Blogs can provide up to date news, technical information, political opinions, advice on investment, health tips, sports, and much more. Okay, so this blogs, the topic of the blog can be anything from personal to professional. So here you can find two symbols, or the popular websites, blogging websites are: first is WordPress with a symbol W, and second is bloggers.com, that is with the symbol of B. Okay, now we will discuss the types of blog. There are different types of blogs. First is personal blog. Personal blog, it is the most common popular way of blog. It is general or diary that is on the internet. Personal blog encompasses personal views on any chosen topic like health, politics, travel, technology, etc. Okay, next type of blog is company blog. Many companies run blogs to let their customer and client know what is going on in the companies that would interest clients or customers, such as new products coming up and progress being made on the some projects. So that types of blogs comes under the category of company blogs. Okay, next type of blog is non-profit blog. These non-profit blogs is a category incorporates the non-profit organizations, that is NGOs, which use blogging to create awareness and raise money for their causes. So we can say that for a fight against COVID-19, we can create a non-profit blog also. Okay, next is political blog. A political blog is the active members of these categories are mainly political parties or members of parliament who use blogging to remain connected with other constitutional parties. Okay, and next type of blog is news and view blog. This type of blog is normally used by the generalist to post factual stories and views about the latest events. Okay, and news and television companies such as BBC have many professional journalists who post stories and views about the latest event. Visitors can add their own opinion as well. So this is about news and views blogs. And next blogging type is microblog or microblogging, you can say. This is another category of blogs that comprises of short entries or updates about the routine task of an individual or a company. This type of blogs are known as microblogs. Okay, they are written in short message form, and it is mainly used to keep friends, colleagues, and customers updated as the entire entries becomes a running commentary about one's life and interests. Twitter is the best example of microblogging. These microblogs are the same as the blogs, but they are written in a short form, and 280 characters is the length of the characters that can be used in Twitter, and the individual post in this microblogging is known as tweets at the time. Okay, so this is about microblogs. Next topic is advantages of blogging. So here you can see the many advantages of blogging. So first advantage is it enables you to pen down your thoughts on anything that interests you. There is no time constraint in blogging. You can do blogging from anywhere. You just need a internet connection and the content with yourself. No office setup is required for blogging, and you are your own boss. Okay, next point is it is easy to set up, as one does not require technical knowledge. It is a quick to add and update new posts. People can write comments on your blog which can prove to be motivational for you also, and which can improve your writing and reading skills also. And it provides a collaborating learning environment and helps learners develop social skills about group consensus and compromises. Students are being encouraged to become authors and improve their writing and reading skill with the help of blogs. Next topic is disadvantages of blogging. Recognition of your talent can be slow process, and initially the traffic can be quite low for your blog, so your approach should be optimistic. That means you have to keep patience in you for recognition of your talent. Okay, while writing you need to be thoughtful and unbiased, otherwise it may have negative impact on the readers also. Okay, next point is people can sometimes prove to be rude in their comments, which may disappoint you. So don't bother about that. Whatever you are writing, you have to keep patience and you have to be confident with your content. You need to be very active and disciplined as a blogger so that people do not lose interest. And blogs, especially personal blogs, are not considered to be reliable. Okay, so next topic is news group. News group is a discussion platform about particular subject. It consists of notes written on a central network site and redistributed through Usenet. Usenet is a network, a worldwide network of news groups, discussion groups. It is a platform where people can exchange information on any topic. Okay, and news group is an online discussion forum where remotely connected users share and discuss a particular topic. The subscribers or the users can exchange text messages, images, videos, and other digital media content. Next is people from different occasions post article here which all the other subscribers of the news group can read, respond to it. The collection of these messages and responses on one topic or question from a thread which is displayed in chronological order by date of posting. Chronological order means in alphabetical order. The news reader's software is used to read and post these messages. The news reader is a program that runs on your computer and connects you to the news server on the internet. Next is some popular example of news groups are www.reddit.com, www.giganews.com, www.fastusenet.com, and many more examples are there. So you can see these examples. Other examples you can find that alt.tennis, alt.astrology, comp.language.c++, etc. So these are the few names of news group. So how you can use a news group? For that you have to follow these steps that are given here. So open any news group site. For example, here we are opening a www.reddit.com and create an account on it. First you have to log into your account. You will get the home page of the news group website as shown in the figure on the next slide, and then you have to type the desired topic. For example, whatever topic you want to write. Here we have taken an example of computer languages in the search bar located at the top of the window, and then you have to press the enter key. After pressing the enter key, you will go to the home page of that news group. So here you can see in this figure, this is the home page of a news group, that is www.reddit.com. Okay, after that you have to go on the next page, that is the home page where you have searched the things. So you will find a list of groups related to the search topic as shown in the figure 1.8. Browse the list and select the desired group, and then blue colors buttons you will find on the screen. So these blue color buttons are the button of join. So you can press any join button in the group which you are interested according to the search topic. Okay. Next step is after completing the join process, you become a member of this group. After becoming a member, you can click on the name of the group to open the link. The news group page will open, and then you can read the latest news published in the group, and you can also create new post by clicking on a create post link, and a new window create a post will open. You can see in the figure, and then type the desired message in the text box and click on the post button. The subscriber of this group can read your message by clicking on its title, and they can also reply to this post by using the reply button. So you can try this news group or blogging things at your own by following all the instructions that are given in this video. Okay, thank you so much. Your chapter is completed.